Sorry, I'm in a pub. I'll give me a minute, and I'll be there. Just run the music, run the theme tune, all right? I'll be there. I promise. I'll be there. Run the theme tune. Come on, do it now. Sorry, I've come from the pub, and here I am in the local laundrette presenting you the latest episode of the Shy Life podcast. Yes, I'm currently dressed a little like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, but nobody seems to bat an eyelid about that. It obviously happens a lot around here. Anyway, this time I should be speaking to a very old friend of mine called Paul. He is really cool, Paul. He's not doing it just to irritate. We talk about a number of subjects, and I shall also read you a piece of my creativeness, and well, we'll see what else happens. It's going to be a wonderful whirlwind of wind, probably. Yes. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Hello. Well, today I am out in the Surrey countryside. I'm here with my friend Paul, who I went to primary school with. Hello, Paul. Hello. Is there anything that you can think of? Any particular anecdotes that are clean? Or, well, they should be clean. We were only kids, but are there any stories that are going to get us into trouble about your time when we were at school together?
Yeah, well, there was that time that I fell down the stairs on my honeymoon, but this is...
You were not at school? You weren't at school then, I hope.
No. The first holiday that we went on, not really a holiday, we went to the Brecon Beacons.
Oh, yes, we went...
Stock primary school.
Yes, that's right. That was actually my last week of primary education.
Yeah, well, I had two. So the first one, school organised loosely as a holiday in order to get permission from parents. And when you actually got there, it was Starlag 4, and essentially you were there to work and look at maps. And it got to about 8 o'clock in the evening. I was thinking, this is ridiculous.
I do remember.
Are we finishing?
I do remember it being quite. I do remember some of the countryside being. I do remember some of it fondly, but I also remember it was one of the first times I'd been away from home, and I remember. I think I was ringing my mum. I don't know if I'd done that a couple of times, but I think it had been decided or was decided by the headmistress that no more people calling back home. We're away from home. That's the whole point. And I remember. I think I was the last person, and then in the queue, and I was on the phone, and maybe she turned up and she was saying no more calls. Yeah,
she was uncomfortable with people making outside contact.
Yeah, this is true.
Nowadays you'd sue.
But I remember being quite upset, and I was talking to my mum, and I was being all sort of, oh yes, it's really nice, and being quite sort of, oh, when I put the phone down, I'm not going to be able to call her again. I remember it being quite upsetting, and I don't think that the headmistress really thought about the fact this was the first time that a lot of us at the age of 10 or 11 had been away from home.
Well, that's right. And also, the big difference is this was her idea of what a holiday should be. Whereas, of course, as you get older, you realise actually holidays should be fun and should be things that you want to do.
Well, I suppose they did need to kind of have some sort of learning involved in it, but even so, it was quite traumatic.
I didn't learn anything from it. I learned how much I hate the Brecon Beacons.
I liked it.
Well, I can't remember very much about. We went to a national park, I think.
It was very pretty. I remember the best bit was when we all. Because although the headmistress was there, we had the people who ran the place were had authority above her, and we'd been somewhere for a big walk, and they said, when we got back to the van, they said, right, everyone jump in the river, and she was furious about that. She was kind of like, no, they can't do that, and she and the person in charge was like, I'm sorry, this is I'm in charge. I'm in charge.
Well, and also, from their point of view, they think, well, if you had been around instead of drinking elsewhere, perhaps this wouldn't have happened. But as you chose
I don't know who would have...
to absent yourself, you can't really then start complaining about what took place.
I don't know. Yes, she wasn't actually there, was she?
She wasn't there, and neither was the other teacher.
No, I don't know what would have happened if we'd all been washed downstream, though. But
well, I mean, obviously we can't go into details because of legal reasons, but essentially it was a derogation of duty. And nowadays you'd sue and you'd say, I'm sorry.
We probably wouldn't be allowed to do any of what we did at school.
No, that's right, yeah. But anyway, that was the first occasion when we were away.
That's the first time. This is a piece from my book, A Yeti Way of Thinking. It's called Just One Day, Being You. I'd like just one day, one solitary day, to spend being you, to test drive you if you like, to sit there inside your head, just peering out through your beady eyes. One day to learn how exactly you see the world. I'd be curious, quite fascinated, enthralled, disgusted. For, to be honest, I've long suspected that you're a bit of a pervert, so it would be interesting to get that officially clarified. Nice to get it confirmed. To know for sure that you really were looking at my arse all those years. One can be annoyed, outraged, yet still rather flattered all at the same time, What I want to know is how you see the sweeter things in life. Do you see them? That's the question. Do they register? Pretty girls are right up there on your radar, but what about pretty views? What about the true emotions of the wedding day? The anniversary, the funeral, are you moved by them at all? I've looked deep into your eyes before now and seen nothing. So if I were there inside your head, would I finally see things differently? Would I finally feel something? The warmth and affection of a true friend? Or the steely distance of some fiendish robot plotting to manipulate, to control? How can you know someone for so long and yet never truly know them? But then perhaps I'll be pleasantly surprised. Maybe I'll meet the bunny-loving, slipper-wearing, cuddly you. The you who spends hours every week working out which charity to donate to. The you who helps grandmas with their shopping without stealing what it is they bought. The you who plants affectionate kisses upon babies without ever first contemplating seducing their mothers. Or maybe I will find a hollow, the steely remains of something which once was human, long since departed, a cold and silent emptiness that explains so much. But so that I know for sure to establish what I have so long been supposing, I'd like just one day, one solitary day to spend being you, 24 hours, to discover what makes a bastard tick. Ooh. This is no good. Dear. Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. Yes, I'm back in the library. I'm going through some of the stock, and I'm reminded of a problem that we had a few years ago. I think we've sorted it out now, but it's not mice, not rats, but shelving imps. Yeah, I mean, a shelving imp is about the size of a mouse, but a lot of libraries have a lot of problems with them. It's not something that gets talked about a lot, but they really do untold damage to the book stock. You see, well, to be quite honest with you, they try and sell the books on eBay. Yeah, behind your back, when you don't notice. You'll find, if you ever go on eBay or on some of these places with marketplaces or second-hand books shops online, the little profiles, a lot of them are shelving imps, and what they're trying to do is to sell books from libraries. it's just it's just a nightmare. And until you get rid of them, you're going to find your book stock is just vanishing off the shelves. As I say, I think I probably sort of got rid of them when we haven't seen any for quite some time, and I must say they're very, very good between a tomato and cheese sandwich. But again, don't go and tell anyone I'm saying that. But never mind, eh? Hello, we're back in the Surrey countryside, and I'm here again with my friend Paul, who I used to go to primary school with. I was going to ask, do you remember? Was I writing back at primary school?
Yes, you were. Yeah, and in fact, you're quite creative, and far more than I was, and actually probably far more than you were supposed to be.
Well, I remember we had an English teacher who was also like the headmaster for a year, and he got us to do like longer sort of projects, writing projects that were sort of as part of English. I remember I wrote a long story, a long Doctor Who story, and I wrote a long story about the Avengers, I think I wrote about the Doctor being on trial, which then later happened. So I think somebody nicked that.
Yeah, definitely.
And although he had been in trial in the 60s, but that's just very geeky. And I also wrote something about the Avengers, which is very typical of the Avengers of I think it was John Steed and Tara King, and they'd found a list of names of people that were going to be killed, and they kept getting there just too late, and then the end of the list was torn off, and they found the missing piece, and the last people who were going to get killed on the bit that had been torn off was Steed and Tara. So I should have been writing for the Avengers, except it had finished 10 years before, but both those projects went missing at the end of I think I was ill at the end of the year, and I bet someone's probably sold it to something very
yeah. Well, actually that would have been a really good investigative story for the Oddstock Recorder, which was the only writing I did that was remotely creative, and we created a newspaper, and you contributed to it, and you helped us write it. It was three of us, and we had, I think we might have had 3 editions, certainly 2, 3 editions, and then what happened was that the headmistress, who hated the idea of children being creative, decided, no, the way to kill this is to create some competition, which I will subsidise with school resources, and we got completely outclassed by a rival paper, which I can't remember what that was called, and we couldn't sustain ours because we were having to do it all ourselves.
You were very interested in politics even back then, I remember.
Really?
I remember you being interested in politics. I remember at some point we had to vote. We had some pretend election, and we had, and you were one of the people. But
really?
Yes, I remember that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Was it sort of,
I don't even
close down this school.
I don't even think that was in classes. I think this was in in our own time, like in our because I remember I used to go off and write stories in lunch break and things like that, because there was that garden around the back of the school and the little doorway which never got used. It was quite good for sitting in, particularly in sort of out of the in the winter. And I think I was mainly writing Doctor Who stories in those days. I don't think I had got to the stage of writing my own characters. That came probably after I left primary school and when I went to the next school, because then soon after that I started going to the Writers' Circle in Salisbury, and I was doing my own thing then. But
that's right. I think you're naturally creative person, and you enjoy the process of writing as much as what the end product is going to be, and you're a lot more spontaneous.
Well, I like even now I like writing, and because I can get it done nicely at lulu.com, I don't really care how many people buy it, but it's in a way, because I got an end project and I'm moving on to the next one, sort of thing. So I suppose when you're a child you're not really doing it, you're not really thinking about who's going to read it. You're doing it because you enjoy it.
That's right, yeah. And also, when something is set for you, it becomes work, doesn't it? And then you become resentful about it. You think, how quickly can I get this finished?
I suppose English was never
the real thing.
English was never really work for me. Reading and boring English literature books was work, but when I was being creative, that wasn't. Well, thank you for sharing some memories, and yes, I shall be back. We'll speak some more soon.
That's great. When do I get paid?
Next week. To speak to my manager, speak to my agent. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. We've got another chat with the two Pauls in a minute, and then after that, Damius Twinklehorn will be checking in with some more of his tales of life as an actor. I think I should probably just mention that he doesn't like people to talk about it, but when he was a child, he had a tragic accident with a hot cheese and tomato toastie, and it's affected his accent ever since. It shifts and changes, and you can never be sure that it's going to be the same from time to time. So if he doesn't sound quite as you remember him, that's why. Anyway, I just thought I should say. Okay. Hello. Yes, I'm back again in the Surrey countryside, and I've got my friend Paul here again. And Paul and I have been on quite a few holidays over the years. I do like, I like going on holiday, and I like going on holiday with friends. And a lot of the trips I've had with Paul have been in the UK. We have had some overseas, but Florence is not your name. Florence is we've been to Florence together twice
now. So the first time, this is about
2002, 3,
something like that, yeah. And neither of us had been before, so that was quite good.
That was my first trip to Italy, full stop. Yeah.
And didn't quite know what to expect, but we got there. Well, I got there with my luggage. You got there, but without your luggage.
Did we fly on different flights? Were we on the same flight?
No, on the same flight.
But my luggage didn't get there.
Yeah, it was a bit stressy.
And I had like a toothbrush in my hand luggage, and we had to go to rush around. Luckily, the shops were open late, and they would have been in the UK. And we had to rush. And I bought like a T-shirt that I wouldn't have bought if I hadn't have not had any other clothes to change into. Because being Italy, it was quite warm. You didn't want to be stuck in the same clothes.
But we did some good trips. We went to San Gimignano, which you can only get to by coach really.
Yeah.
Siena, which is really good.
That's nice.
Like that. So we went all around Florence, and we did quite a bit of walking.
Yeah,
it's a nice place.
And my luggage did turn up as well, so that was good. I was able to relax quite quickly. I think it was the next day. So yeah. And then we went back again for my 40th, which was almost 8-9 years later, and there was more people, but there was there were a lot more people, but we did similar things because you and I wanted to do them again, and the other people who were with us hadn't done them before. Yeah,
Alex hadn't been before,
and Callum and Harry.
Yeah, so we got able to show them round.
We went to Pisa. And
that was actually funny enough. That was the best day because it was pouring with rain in the morning, and we were all thinking, this is going to be grim. We're going to have to just stay in Florence. But you strongly encouraged.
Oh yes, I forgot.
Strongly encouraged us that we had to do something and we were not staying in Florence. We were going to be getting on a train.
Did I stamp my foot? Nearly.
I think what you did was you just said, well, we're all going, and this is happening.
This is happening. It's my birthday.
It's my party, and our craft. So I think we kind of felt, we can't really argue. We can't really argue, even though we think it is a terrible, terrible idea. Anyway, we got on the train. We arrive in Pisa, and of course it's wonderful sunshine. We end up going up the Tower of Pisa. We had a very nice meal in the town, the old town. We went round.
Because I consulted Mystic Meg the night before. I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, so sometimes, that is something that would never have happened if you hadn't. People say bullying. I wouldn't say bullying. I wouldn't say bullying.
Threatening.
Others might say that.
Yeah,
I think that's.
But they're dead. They're all dead.
Probably too strong a word. But
well, they can't speak. They can't speak for themselves anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, so that wouldn't have happened if you hadn't intervened, and that probably was the best thing that we did. On that whole trip. But it was also, we were incredibly lucky with the weather. It was about 22, 23 degrees, in November.
I remember the first time we went, I remember being quite shocked that sometimes, we had a big breakfast and then maybe we had something to eat later. In the evening, you wouldn't always be full. And I was quite shocked that you didn't necessarily. You're like, I'm going to have an apple for dinner, and I'm what? What am I going to? And I went to an Italian restaurant by myself, and because there's all
this
these.
Is on the first trip.
Yeah, and there's so many different things. I didn't know quite enough. Are these different courses? Am I supposed to have one of all of these? Or and because none of us knew much about it. But
like the menu.
Yeah.
What's a small dish? What's a starter?
What you're supposed to share?
Course? Yeah. All of that sort of stuff. But that's part of the experience, isn't it? Of learning and being taken out of your comfort zone and how you react to it.
Yeah.
And then you learn and you probably become more knowledgeable about customs.
Absolutely.
And how you get yourself around. But you have to go through that pain, don't you, of learning and being. Having to sort of work out what you're supposed to do. Yeah. How do you?
Particularly as neither of us know much Italian, if any. So
Si.
So we are actually very good, you see. We were just being very modest.
Yeah. What we're good at is finding the person with the Union Jack badge.
Following them. Or not, I don't know. Hello, it's me again. Damius Twinklehorn. Yes. It's good to be back. Last time I was speaking about some of my experiences in the film industry, and, well, I'd like to do the same again this time. Yes. Well, I suppose I should tell you about one of my first appearances in a movie, and that was in 1964, where I was in a film called Pat, the Pet Dog of Frankenstein. Yes, I actually played the dog in that film. Yes, believe it or not, I really did. It was quite an experience, I must say, although I did get a bit carried away and I bit one of the actors. For a moment or two I was concerned that they might try and put me down, but thankfully they didn't. All I had to do was lick the face of the director a few times, and he seemed pleased enough, and nobody said anything more. So, these are quite strange experiences, some might say, but then that is the film industry for you. Yes, one of my favourite films that I appeared in was from 1971. It was called Platt, the Moustache of Dracula. Yes. I played the barber of Dracula, and I had to do him a really groovy haircut. And, yes, some of the more candid scenes between the two of us ended up on the cutting room floor, along with some of the hair. Yes. I think I may have some of the hair in a box in my loft. Maybe I should get that onto eBay. The last film I'm going to discuss this time is from 1982, by which time the movie business was not quite the same as it had been back in the 60s and 70s. I was reduced to playing a crowd. Well, not the whole crowd, obviously. That would have been silly. No, I played a member of the crowd in a film called Mother-in-Law of the Mummy in 1982. There isn't a lot I can say about this film, except that the chocolate biscuits were very good at the canteen, and good chocolate biscuits goes a long way to making me, Damius Twinklehorn, very happy, I must say. Anyway, I think the time has run out this time, so I'll say thank you for listening, and hopefully you'll join me again soon, where I can be discussing more of my stories of being an actor. Yes, this is Damius Twinklehorn, signing out. Goodbye. Right, before we move on to the next part of our episode, I've got a couple of emails that refer back to last episode. One is from a Susie Simons. She says she was quite distressed by the sound of the tearing pages. This was because I was showing you around the library and explaining how books that sit on the shelves with the moist atmosphere, they can start to grow chapters that they're not supposed to, not just a new chapter of the same subject. literally you could be reading a book on international relations and suddenly find yourself with a chapter of Alice in Wonderland suddenly emerging. And you can imagine, we're dealing with students here, you can imagine how confusing it would be to suddenly discover that you're reading about, I don't know, the foreign policy of America, and suddenly there's going on about Mad Hatters and Mad March Hares and all those sorts of things. It can be very confusing, and there's been a few times that there have been essays handed in, and gosh, yes, much confusion. So I'm afraid, Susie, it's just a part of my job. I have to remove those chapters. It's not good. It's not fun. It's not a nice part of the job at all. But it does have to be done. And I apologise if you were upset by it. Now, the next email I have is from Bobby Blotto, and this refers to Damius Trinklehorn was saying how he had been in a film where he played a tree. Well, it turns out that Bobby Blotto played one of the leaves on the trees. So, what a coincidence. He doesn't say much, but he would like to be put in contact with Damius, and of course, yes, Bobby will put you in contact. How nice you'll be able to share memories of working together. Maybe Damius won't have to share them so much with us. Only joking, Damius. We love your stories. I think that's it. That's it for this episode as far as letters are concerned. But if you would like to write in, please do so to shyyeti@yahoo.co.uk. Feel free to, anything you like. Comments, criticisms, advice. If you'd like me to solve any of your problems, I'm actually a trained agony aunt, so I can help you out with that as well. So anyway, moving on now. I'm just going to go and ask Dealey what he thought of this episode. I'd like to know whether we've improved at all. Dealey, what do you think? Have we improved? Will you tell me? We're only it's only very early days. It's only the early days. We will get better. What do you think? How many out of 10? Okay, well, we will do better next time. I'm sorry. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Shy Life podcast. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. I'm still in the laundrette. I'm dressed a bit like Miss Piggy, and nobody cares. It's obviously a good place to hang out in. So anyway, I think I'm going to go back to the pub, and I hope you've enjoyed what's been in store this time, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Thank you, and good night.
Hello, it's me, Damius Trinklehorn. Just very quickly, I thought you'd like to hear exactly how I played the dog in Pat the Pet Dog of Frankenstein. Yes, this is the voice I did. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Ho, ho. I hope you enjoyed that. Goodbye now.